Pokemon has some real duds. Not just the obvious ones, but the ones that are just disappointing. I'm not like M&J TV, where he has a weird thing with Miltank and its nips. I just like more Pokemon than I hate, and nearly every Pokemon ranges from eh to great, but something has to be last. In all honesty, I can only say that 2 of these on this list piss me off, and 1 is due to naming. And if you have any idea of basic naming conventions, you can probably pick out which one it is really quickly. The other is just a fuck up on all accounts. But again, that's more disappointing than downright anger. There's simply no Pokemon I can think of that is worth getting that angry over. So without further ado, here's my least favorite Pokemon of each type. Fairy. Fairy is one of those types I have no real big issue with, other than say Aromatisse for just being ugly and weird. But if I had to pick one on my own personal bias, Azumarill is that fairy type. It's very simple. My ex used to have one when we dated, and all they talked about was how powerful it was, and how it was a golden tank of death, and oh my god, I don't care that it sweeps the Elite Four, it's a fucking bunny rabbit. Shut the fuck up. Steel. Steel is kind of weird since most Steel-type Pokemon fly over my head in terms of using them, since I use the Water starter a lot, so the Fire-type gets picked by my rival, so it would obliterate it. Most are decent though, I will say that. Fortress is just so forgettable though. It evolves from a better Pokemon, Pineco, if only for that stupid meme. I've just never seen one used, and if I find one, it's in my box forever. Sorry dude, you suck. Dark. This one is weird since I have no real disdain for this Pokemon, but it's here for the fact that I think it's mistyped. Shiftry is a Pokemon that I've never used, but it struck me as a fighting type. Why is it dark? Lore doesn't count. Why does this thing have a type that doesn't fit it since its stance and appearance are more fighting than dark or even sinister? So, I mean, the fuck, Game Freak? Dragon. Altaria. Why is it a dragon? Just why? It looks like a water flying bird. Like, that's what I think it should be. And while researching this video, I physically stopped at this thing and was like, what the fuck? Who rolled a 16-sided dice and landed on a dragon for this thing? It's not fierce. It's not threatening. Weirdly, it has the dumbest typing I could have picked for it. Flying Dragon, which means ice is doubly effective to it. Also, why the fuck is it so fluffy? Who needed the cotton candy bird to be a thing? And its mega is even worse because of it. And to a lesser extent, Ampharos, which it's not gonna be on here, but fuck Ampharos too, and its mega while we're at it. Why is one a cloud and the other a cover model for L'Oreal? I don't get it. Anyway, moving on to a less controversial answer. Ghost. Trevorant. Who in their right mind thought that turning one of the cutest Pokemon in the world into this monster was a good idea? Because they need to die. Like, yes, it and Pumpkaboo were Halloween-based Pokemon, but this one is just less cute. Plus, I have no tie to it like I do with Pumpkaboo from the show. What I don't get is, why is it so damn angry? Like, if it were like Gengar with a mischievous feel to it, I'd be cool. But now, much like Charizard, it always looks pissed, and it bothers me. Also, you can only get it from trade, and that's where I draw the line. Rock. Relicanth. Who, why, how, where, and what the fuck? This thing looks like Hanzo from Overwatch fucked a fish, and he got really angry afterwards and burst this. I don't hate it, but I don't know what to do with it either. Feebas has the benefit of evolving into something great, and Goldeen is at least saved by her meme voice. Relicanth just has nothing saving it from being mediocre. Bug. Shuckle! It's fucking Shuckle. Who the fuck likes Shuckle? Psychic. Slowpoke. Really, the Slowpoke line is here because this doesn't appeal to me. Why are they psychic? I get being water and then like normal. But really, why are all of them psychic? Slowking gets a pass because it's at least a king, and the King's Rock has a little bit of lore to it. But Slowpoke and Bro should be like normal water or something like that. I will say, its derpy face is pretty funny to look at. Flying. Oricorio. It's a gimmick Pokemon. Kinda like Rotom, but unlike Rotom, the gimmick isn't fun. All it is that you go get 4 different colors of nectar and you feed it to turn it into one of the other forms to have it be the form of the color you gave it. So if it's yellow and you feed it red nectar, you get the red version. But that's it. You can't really mix and match or make a combination of all 4 kinds to make it evolve or anything. Nah, it's just transformations. The Pokédex doesn't even give you full entries for all of them. It's just underwhelming in my mind. Pidgeot, on the other hand, is here for a petty-ass reason. I fucking hate its naming convention. What is this shit? Pidgeotto... Pidgeot? Why isn't it Pidgeot, Pidgeotto? Because that makes much more sense and rolls off the tongue a lot better. I think they might have mistranslated it from the Japanese version, and they were just too embarrassed to change it back, or something like that. Other than that, it's a fine bird, but I will never ever use one because it's so infuriating. Like I said, I'm petty. Ground. Nidoqueen and Nidoking. Why are these two separate? Like seriously, why not just merge them into a single Pokédex entry? It's been 22 years and it throws me off so bad. I have a theory the hardware was too limited to do anything like swapping models for the same Pokemon, and this was before gender differences were added to the franchise. So they had 2 working concepts for them and they didn't want to throw one of them out, so they were like, do them both? Either way, it's frustrating and annoying, and it fucks with my OCD that the Pokédex is off kilter by 3 because of it. Poison! Salandit. Frankly, I hate lizards, but there are a few reptilians I've made peace with, but this one just creeps me out. And while I like how it evolves like Vespiquen, only for the women, yay feminism, it just throws me off. Also, why the fuck is Gen 1 comprising most, if not half of the damn poison types? Seriously, there are 71 poison types, and 38 of them are from Gen 1. Just goes to show you how toxic Gen 1 is. Fighting. Pheromosa. Why? How? Who made this poor thing a fighting type? Buzzwole, its counterpart, is a bug fighting type as well, but this thing looks like it should be fairy or bug psychic. Look at this thing, it looks like an anorexic Gwyneth Paltrow with a wedding veil on. How is this thing gonna win a fight with a punch? My brain can't comprehend how this thing exists the way it does. Ice! Walrein. I don't... What even are you? Santa Claus has a walrus? I don't get this thing at all. Dugong is a better ice water type, and that got outshined by a mermaid seal. Why is it so angry? Why is it so angry though? Like, I've never seen someone use this thing in a fight, outside of like the randos on the routes. No one's ever used this thing in comp, no gym leaders ever used it, and it's just an ugly, unlikable waste of code. Grass. Sceptile. I'll be honest here, I just don't like this thing. I don't. Out of all the generations, Gen 3 is the one I have the least attachment to, and that comes down to me getting into the franchise in Gen 4. And while I like the pool of Gen 4 Pokemon better, I have to say Gen 7 is my favorite overall, but that's a story for another day. Regardless, Sceptile is one of the weirdest Pokemon to me because it just looks like Trico got stretched and added a few pus-filled boils on his back. I know you all love this thing, but I can't get behind that. Electric. Raikou. Jumping from one fan favorite to the other. Ooh, I'm hiding under my bed tonight. I like exactly one of the 3 dogs, and it's the fire one. But I already have a water spot and an ice slot taken, so someone's gonna take one for the team. What I really don't like about this thing is that its design is so mishmashed. It has both puffy mutton chops, an electric mustache with a faceplate, and saber teeth like it's from the fucking Snow Ages. And then we have this weird purple mullet thing, and it looks like every bad dad design in the universe. Plus, it's kinda just the odd man out in terms of the dogs. Suicune has its rabid fanbase, and much like Articuno, I've never understood that. And then we have the best legendary ever made before Nebby to compare with, so sorry man, you got outplayed by your friends. Water. Bruxish. Drag queen fish. That was the initial thought for a lonely intern who started too much coke at the office Christmas party and then promptly died. That's the only reason I can think of, while also being somewhat funny, to make this thing become a reality, and to have it go from the idea concept stage to the final editing table. It doesn't evolve into or from anything, and it's just a weird Pokemon in general. And for that, it's the worst water type. Normal. Kamala. I think this was a solid concept, but then they ran out of time to finish the second or even third stage. Like, they had a really cool idea to like mimic Slacking or Snorlax, but then couldn't make any more before they had to ship the game and were like, fuck it. Also, it's shiny as fucking bullshit. Regular? Shiny. Why are they so similar? Fire. Incineroar. You suck, my god, you fucking suck. God, how did you make something so cool into something so stupid? For those of you who don't know, I like Sun and Moon, and I really like the ways Rowlet and Popplio evolve, and even Litten to Torracat is really great. I'll probably make an entire video on that later, but damn it, why did you have to make the fire one into such a lame ending? I'd rather keep Torracat than let it turn into a wrestler. It's frankly one of the most left-facing turns Pokemon has ever taken, and I hate it. No joke, no lie, I hate this thing, and it's probably my least favorite Pokemon to date. So there it is, my least favorite Pokemon of every type. And you know what? It was way harder to find the worst of each type, because overall, Pokemon is a series that has some solid designs, and even their mediocre stuff is just meh at best. Most people have a lot of least favorites or Pokemon they hate. Looking at you, Michael with Miltank, which I do not understand. I'm gonna go on a tangent for just a second about this, because I don't get the thing with the udders. He seems to think they look like swaying nipples or whatever. They're not nipples. And you know why? Because it's a cow, not a person. Cow udders hang, and it would stand to reason the cow Pokemon would have udders that move the way udders do, which admittedly is like breasts. However, it's a cow with cow anatomy. Get over it. It's the same thing with cast form and how it looks like it has balls or boobs depending on who you are. And guys, it's supposed to be clouds. Get the fuck over it. Rant over. Anyway, do the usual things, like, comment, subscribe, and I actually have a Twitter if you want to follow it. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check it out. My name is Chris, and sit in the corner, all of you. You suck at being Pokemon.